Alright, so let me show where I am on my shell build 2. I got some debugging to do. Alright, so I was setting up my collision listener to have for when I'm moving. I also created the full map. So I switched the camera style so it's just showing the centering the player, but I have the entirety of my map for the overworld. And I have the contact listener correctly set up for walls. And if you look down here, when I run into friendly, it'll let me know that I ran into a friendly. Same with an enemy. So that shows up. The issue that I'm having right now, and I'm still trying to debug, is the portal layer is not correctly showing up. So I gotta. It should also be registering a contact with the each map layer, letting me know that I've collided with a map layer. So this would be like a secret cave. So that should be the portal layer. It should be registering. It's not. So I wasn't able to get the portals activated to have it work. Not yet. So if I could just show what I did. So here is, this is my current sprint. So for loading the overworld map, I've fully created that. I can show that untiled. So each one of these sections, and I have my camera focal points, and my portal layers, my spawns for the players to be a little bit more realistic to what I'm having for the game. So it's correctly pulling the collision layers from the map and putting that in. So all I need is for that portal layers to correctly identify when I'm doing collisions, and then I can have it move and reload that map, reload the new map, destroy the bodies that are in this current map, load the bodies for the other map. So I did kind of go ahead and change some things so that I'm ready to do that once I get it set up. So my map manager, which used to just control the maps, is now also controlling spawning the entities. So I should be able to, when I load a new map, I can just call to spawn entities. This will have to get adjusted a little bit though for the player. So if the player is not null, then I just need to move his position to where that spawn point is, not to create a new entity. So that's the small piece that I have to change. But now, and instead of me using the spawn generator that I was using before and calling that, I'm actually going through the map manager and doing it. So if I go to my main game screen, so here, map manager, I'm just calling to spawn entities. So I was working on doing the map update, but once I actually have a portal, then I can register that the map has changed, and then I can spawn the entities in here and make some changes to that. So I can have the entities spawn and then queue up the other ones to get destroyed. Level collision generator. So I made a couple changes in things. Part of it was my physics manager. I changed that so it's not. I'm not pulling from here. I'm actually pulling from my type components right here to assign the player. So I'm actually doing it inside of the Ashley component system, where I'm assigning the type, and then I have built collision component that can hold the entity that collided with um, the player or with whatever else. And then in my collision system, um, I am going through and processing, uh, pulling those type components to find out what they collided with. And then I have this set up where um, for my portal, I can generate for the portal once I actually register that there has been a collision with it. I also pre-set up for enemies and weapons and potions and the like and dragoons, so that once I get that set up, then it shouldn't be too difficult to set up the other pieces for collecting a weapon, collecting dragoons, and then for my player component, I can add that data there to start tracking what the player has collected. I also made changes to my position system where instead of in the main game screen using the Box 2D world step, I'm doing it inside of the position system, so everything is getting touched by it instead of doing it outside of it, so it's a little bit more Ashley friendly. Cave map is correctly set up for the new map. This is what the cave looks like. So this is my cave map. I don't currently have it working up yet because the portal's not registering. I've been playing around with this for a while. So that's what I'm going to end up having to push to next week to get that working so that I can have it correctly switching back and forth. So then I kind of pre-set up other stuff to make sure that that was working. Let's see. The issue with the loading, that might be because it could be a couple things. I'm not disposing everything right now. So if it's calling in the Android life cycle, if it's not recycling, if it's recycling the JVM, then I have to end up, dealing with that because the life cycle of the Android with this, when I'm in the main game screen, the normal things for pausing and resuming and showing when stuff is disposed in the libgdx game, and it goes to basically kind of pause it on the life cycle instead of, and then decides when it wants to destroy the JVM. I have to have it deal with that case to redo and recreate this stuff. So I got to play around with the life cycle on how that's going and how some of the pieces are set up, and to properly make sure that stuff's being disposed, which I'm not disposing everything right now. So like I'm only disposing the map renderer, but in the maps I should individually dispose of each map, and the level collision generator I should be disposing of all box 2D bodies. So I need to iterate through that to dispose of that. So it could be, based off the reading, that it's showing a black screen because it might be trying to render something over what already exists, or because it's actually disposed and it's not being recreated. So I gotta play around with that. That's something else that's on the agenda for next week. So that's where I'm at. I was hoping to get a lot more done this week. An interaction active layer, it's not too hard to do in tiled. And actually it ended up being a little bit more split than what I thought it was going to be, because like when I'm in my overworld, in order for, say, this, which is like a hidden cave, I'm actually doing that on my, now why are you not? Okay. I'm actually doing that in my upper layer, is going on top of where the player is going. So it's getting rendered above the player. So this is not going to be seen when he's walking in. The same as this cave right here. When he's walking in, it's kind of looking like he's actually going in. And then that would be my portal activation object. So the interactive layer, what my plan is that like these right here, those will randomly drop a Dragoon. So that has to get created into the tile set, and then I can switch out. Once they hit that, I can switch it to a Dragoon, and then he can collect that. So that's going to end up happening in the interactive layer. So I still got some changes that I got to make, but that's basically what I have for this game so far, and I got to figure out that portals. All right, thanks.